Columbia College has announced a significant increase in tuition fees. Find out how it's affecting students.
From matching tattoos to stick and pokes, Columbia students show us their tattoos and tell us the stories behind them.
Are commuting students being left in the cold? Find out why some say they
Happy Friday and welcome to NewsBeat. I'm Zaid Hussein.
And I'm Nathan Fournier. Thanks for joining us.
After an announcement about Columbia's tuition fees rising again, find out how students feel about this. Reporter Holly Angus and photojournalist Andreas Guerra have more.
Columbia announced another tuition rise on the 13th of April after a town hall meeting led by Dr. Kim discussing a budget deficit. Dr. Kim implemented a new four-plan strategy which includes increasing tuition, improving retention, attracting new students, and cutting operational costs. But students want more answers and to see more change to reflect these tuition increases. Columbia's tuition has continued to rise every year for the last 4 years, with a 10% increase in 2021 and 5% in 2022. We asked students how the tuition affects them directly.
I'm planning on leaving Columbia just because I see like this tuition increase and I don't see any real benefit from it. I don't see facility hours going up. I don't get more resources. In fact, resources are actually being cut from programs, cutting classes, and I just don't see, if we were getting a tuition increase and seeing higher quality facilities or more classes, then I would understand, but we're not seeing any of that. I think the school just needs to do better things with its money. I'd like to know more specifically where our money is going, why our staff isn't being paid, why our tuition is going up so much. Even if we had a reason, maybe there is a good reason, but I haven't seen it and we aren't being told it, which makes me think there is no good reason.
Well, I was blessed enough to have enough scholarships and money from the state that I didn't have to really pay much in 4 years, but that did affect the money that I was using for materials such as books and stuff, because I would use the refund money for that, and as the years went on, since tuition was going up, I was getting less and less refunds. So I think that was one thing that was getting me, just because I didn't have a job at the time, and that money was what I was using for supplies for schools such as books and other like programs that required to pay for.
If you're worried about financial difficulties, you can visit Columbia Central, located at 600 South Michigan Avenue on the 3rd floor, open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. And make sure to check out scholarships at ColumbiaCentral/scholarships to see if you're eligible for some extra cash. Holly Angus, reporting from Chicago, NewsBeat.
Pride Month is slowly approaching, and anti-trans legislation is taking place in different states across the country. Columbia states that they prioritize diversity and inclusion within the student experience. But it's important to see if our trans and gender nonconforming peers find for this to be true, based off their own experiences and what they've seen.
Well, I think Columbia is a safe space for trans and gender nonconforming students, mainly due to just the students themselves, like the student body. I also do feel that like SDI does a really good job of like creating programming and facilitating events that make us feel welcomed and safe. Throughout the year they spread it, and I really appreciate that. I think Columbia as an institution needs some work, but like SDI specifically and the student body, I think that's what does a good job of making me feel welcomed.
Clubs and events like the brand new Trans Fam have begun this semester to create a space open for all students, but focuses on empowering trans and gender nonconforming students to have an outlet, share access to resources, and to have that safe space to hang out. I'll have that and more on this topic in next week's show.
The Chicago Transit Authority is now running a marketing campaign that features the artwork of 2 Columbia alumni to promote Columbia College Chicago. Dean Strauss, illustration and civic media alum, was commissioned to create the artwork, which is now featured at several CTA stations. A photography installation organized by photography alum Deanna Smith is also featured at the Logan Square Blue Line station. Assistant VP of Undergraduate Admissions, Derek Brinkley, says the college wanted to share alumni work, which reflects on the Columbia experience with future students.
Fashion students at Columbia are also getting the chance to showcase their work. They recently participated in a competition for the grand opening of Arc'teryx. We have more on this story coming up.
If you're a fan of tattoos, whether they're temporary or actual ink tattoos, stick around and let's hear the stories of students' tattoos at Columbia.
How do students feel about commuter benefits at Columbia? We'll tell you all about it coming up on NewsBeat.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
My text to emoji ratio has gotten a little out of hand.
A little.
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Son, love is like the ocean. You have to tread the waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Jessica, will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Spending time outdoors has never felt more valuable. Whether it's exploring nature or relaxing in your yard, let's do it responsibly. Before going out, check for closures and fire restrictions. Practice social distancing, even when outside and on the trail. Back at home, if burning yard debris, keep your pile small. And no matter where you are, be sure to properly extinguish any outdoor fire. Drown, stir, drown, feel. We're all in this together. Help keep our safe places safe.
These are so cool, and they're popular among Columbia students. Reporter Citlali Magali Sotelo and photojournalist Sam Tucker got to take a closer look at the meaning of some students' tattoos. Let's take a look.
Tattoos may be skin deep, but their significance goes beyond that. From a form of expression, tribute, identity, love declarations, just to name a few. Every day, more and more tattoos are being made, either professionally or not. Columbia students are known to be artsy, and tattoos are just one of the ways to showcase their stories and creativity. Some students do them on themselves through stick and poke.
Tattoos, but I'm cheap. So I said, I have the chronic idea that I can do pretty much anything myself. And so I said, well, I guess I'll just start giving myself tattoos.
Some students even have tattoos on parts that can't be shown.
And I have one on my booty, and it says the word wild. So I had just gone to Pittsburgh, and I stayed there for a little bit to get some schooling done at Carnegie Mellon. And my friends and I were just like kind of nerdy, and I felt very prudish in high school, and I was hoping that the tattoo would make me like be more daring. It would kind of empower me to be a little freak. And so my friends and I stole ink and a sewing needle from Michael's, and we did it in our dorm room.
Are there any Columbia-inspired tattoos?
My second favorite is also one of my most meaningful tattoos. It says "Keep in Flight," and that's in honor of Columbia professors John H. White's little phrase that he always says, a little mantra. And so at the end of not the end of the school year, but at the end of the year, I got it tattooed in his handwriting in a spot where I can always see it when I take photos.
What about their first experiences?
He did it with, transfer paper on my shoulder, and he used a needle that he bought at a fucking store. Can I swear? That he bought at a fucking store. And he was wearing rubber gloves and everything. He was very sanitary about the whole situation. It took him 2 days.
What about any upcoming tattoos?
I have 3, but I'm gonna get another one this summer. I'm excited. So my parents are getting married finally, so I'm gonna get both of their last names on my arm.
Although tattoos are a form of self-expression and I don't have one just yet, I actually got a temporary one that goes hand in hand with my Mexican-American heritage. I got a cowgirl hat with cow print. I love cowgirl hats, I love cowboy boots, and I love cow print. And I also love jaripeos, which are Mexican dances. If you're scared of needles, like I kind of am, you can always opt for this option. In the South Loop, Citlali Magali Sotelo, Columbia College, Chicago, TV NewsBeat.
Arc'teryx, an outdoor apparel and equipment company, invited Columbia College Chicago students to compete in a challenge. The students were provided 20 expired climbing harnesses and asked to upcycle and create a new clothing item. The winners were announced at the grand opening of Arc'teryx in Oak Brook, Illinois. We want to send our congratulations to Anna Solis, Diego Urbina Gomez, Juan Rivera, and Darius Parker, the winning students of Columbia. If you're interested in seeing the students' work, their pieces will be displayed April 28th through 30 at the Arc'teryx Chicago store on 1007 North Rush Street.
I mean, that's amazing. I don't think I ever would have thought to use expired ropes like that for fashion.
100%. I didn't see it coming either. It's a fascinating story. Coming up, find out how the weather is looking for this weekend.
To commuting at Columbia. We'll cover all of them coming up on NewsBeat.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
Natural disasters are a fact of life in the U.S. And between activities and school, chances are you won't be with your kids when they happen. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids can help your children feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Hovering around that high 40s, low 50s temperature all week, mixing with some showers on Saturday and Monday. But stay tuned next week for some warmer weather as we approach the 60s on Thursday with plenty of sunshine. Be sure to stick around for more news coming up here on NewsBeat.
Commuting students get to classes than students on campus. Some commuters feel that they should be offered more benefits from Columbia.
We sent our reporter Jake Fredrickson and photojournalist Kevin Atkinson to find out.
Located in the heart of downtown Chicago, there's obvious benefits to commuting at Columbia. But what are the drawbacks? We asked commuter students their thoughts.
Most of Columbia's students are commuters, yet some are dissatisfied with the resources and benefits offered. Junior Emma Hutchinson's commute takes her about an hour, coming from Lowell, Indiana, twice a week.
For us drivers, there isn't any lots that we can park on that have like a discount or anything. So I'm going to be paying up to $30 a day.
However, Hutchinson acknowledges the benefit of having trains, buses, and expressways all throughout the South Loop, providing several ways to campus.
There's kids that come up from, or come down from Wisconsin. There's kids that come up from Indiana. So it has its pros and its cons, but you're going to pay a price.
Columbia offers students a U-Pass to reduce the cost of CTA transportation throughout the semester, but it cost $153 up front this spring, a steep increase from the former fee of $50. Moreover, the U-Pass is all Columbia offers, meaning students from outside the city need to find their own way, like junior Amari Flowers, for example.
I have to pay $10 a day to take the Metro, which kind of hurts my pockets a bit sometimes.
Flowers also says it's unsafe walking to Union Station after late classes.
It is a safety issue, like usually by that time of day, like, because I don't get home until midnight with me taking a late train. And usually then I want to go to sleep, but I can't because I'm afraid someone's going to like mug me or something like that.
Both Hutchinson and Flowers say they try to stack all their classes to limit their trips taken and money spent.
It adds up really quick, and then feeding yourself on top of that, and then whatever else you need for class.
Universities nearby have commuter ambassador programs, commuter web pages for information, and commuter appreciation days with free coffee before class. Columbia, on the other hand, has none of the above, leaving commuters feeling overlooked.
It's not Columbia's fault that we're commuting, but at least they can, at least show that they actually care.
If you ever feel unsafe traveling to or from campus, just call Columbia's Safe Ride program at 312-369-SAFE. Jake Fredrickson, NewsBeat.
It's never a burden on the escorts to make sure you get out of here safely. Live from the South Loop, I'm Jake Fredrickson, Columbia College, NewsBeat.
I'll tell you what, I feel they're paying commuting from the south suburbs of Chicago, having to take the Metro every single day, so it's pretty tough.
Yeah, coming all the way from Indiana. Props to Emma.
Definitely. The NFL draft started this week. Rosemary Murillo has more on who the Chicago Bears picked and what all went down.
Good morning, Columbia. I'm Rosemary Murillo, and we have an exciting day in sports. In baseball news, the Chicago Cubs are off to a solid start to the season with a record of 14 wins and 10 losses. Meanwhile, on the south side of Chicago, White Sox have had a bit of a rocky start with a historically bad start to the season and a record of 7 wins and 19 losses. In basketball news, the Chicago Bulls season has come to an end as they failed to make the playoffs after a loss against the Miami Heat, 91-102. In football, with the 10th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears selected Darnell Wright, offensive lineman from Tennessee.
Man, if I try to describe it, I don't even know what I say. I'm sitting there, I don't even know the words. I'm in shock. I don't know. I'm happy. I'm really happy. I'm happy.
That's all for now in the world of Chicago sports. Be sure to tune in next time for more updates and highlights. Back to you guys.
Next on NewsBeat, Se Habla Español, we take a look at the newly added Spanish section of the Columbia Chronicle.
And it's Cinco de Mayo. We'll tell you the real significance of the holiday.
That's all for this edition of NewsBeat. We'll be back next week, Friday, May 5th.
Thank you for joining us and have a great weekend.